Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Real Talk with Delphine. Today, I am really ecstatic to not only be able to call you my friend, but introduce you to someone who is doing wonderful things in Montrose and raising awareness on subjects that we don't always want to talk about, but we're here today to share with you all that we know about Sexual Assault Awareness Month and also about Faultless and how it started. So allow me to introduce you to my good friend, Nicole Stone. Nicole, welcome.
Hi, Delphine.
Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, let's dive right in and talk a little bit more about how did you create Faultless? Why did you create Faultless? And what, it's loaded, but what does Faultless achieve? So let's start on how you create Faultless.
So after my daughter was assaulted in January of 2021, I realized that we have not only some issues locally, but we have an issue statewide that I wanted to address because unfortunately there are laws out there that don't protect our children. And locally, I was shocked at how my daughter was treated from parents and even people that I would hang out with that are older, the questions that they would ask me about what my daughter was wearing, to was she drinking, and I realized that there needed to be some discussion, conversation in our community starting now.
Yes, and I think it's when we talk about conversations, and thank you so much for being so vulnerable and sharing this with us. But it's not about just conversation, it's about education, am I right?
Yes. So that was a whole nother, I went down a rabbit hole. I went down law, and then I started looking at what prevention education is being implemented in Montrose, even at the state level. And I found that that there wasn't any prevention education starting in kindergarten through 12th grade in Montrose County. I thought that I was going to have to make this video, make the education. I was like, I'm going to have to make this. I can do this, and
From the ground up.
I even contacted Drew. I mean, we're full circle here, thinking I needed to make a video and talk about consent and talk about these issues. And come to find out, there was already education at the state level that's been approved that starts in kindergarten through 12th grade. Again, it's already approved at the state level by the Colorado Child Safety Resource, Guide. It's done. It's by a panel of psychologists, child psychologists. It's approved. It's just not being implemented. And it's been out there for 25. The education's out of Florida. It's called Prevent 360 by the Monica Burr Foundation. And it's been around for 25 years, and they update it every year. They have it for all online students. They have it for special needs students. And again, it's age-appropriate prevention education, going over body safety, teaching our children at a very young age boundaries. And then it goes into more of your digital safety, which we know we need to start really early because you're 2.5 years old when you first get your first device. It might not be a phone, but there's already predators online that are looking.
An iPad.
Yeah.
2.5-year-old is, you're saying, the average age on when a child is handed a device,
Yep.
an electronic device,
Yes.
which gives access to predators to our children.
Yes.
And I think we forget that it's not only so early, and they're not equipped to be able to deal with it, because grooming is a real thing. Can you walk me through how grooming works and how much of a danger our children can be exposed to?
So in chat rooms, there are in Discord, and again, those might be around 8 or 9 years old, but it doesn't matter. You've got to start talking to your children, or the school district could start putting this into play, so they can see. They will know red flags. They will know that when someone tries to offer you a phone or something monetarily, right? They're on a chat room, right? On these game sites, that it's not right. Those types of things will be educated in this prevention education to these children.
Or where do you live?
Yeah, yeah.
Send me a photo.
Send me a
Can
photo.
You take your shirt off.
Yes. Yeah, there's been lots of that going on where they get even star football players, in 10th grade, someone will contact them and say, can you send me, a nude? And then they send it out. They send it to them and they don't realize that they're going to get blackmailed. And then they end up killing them. They end up committing suicide because now, it's
out of control.
It's out of control. And they don't feel comfortable telling their parents.
Because they're ashamed.
Yep.
And that's probably the biggest dark cloud around all this.
Yes,
is
it's shame.
Shame.
Yep.
And even with assault is shame.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason people don't speak up is because of shame. And so what I want to talk about next is the support that we now have here in Montrose. So let's talk about the education, but also focusing on a maybe not so fun aspect, but SANE nurses here in Montrose are doing great things. Can you expand on that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was contacted by Jennifer Eckman, and she is with the Montrose Memorial Hospital SANE nurse, and she heard about Faultless because the survivor was on the table and knew what to do. And she was also going to she met with the president of the Montrose Memorial Hospital to show him the statistics of the increase that we have in Montrose, and it's a 200% increase from 2021 to 2022 in the age group 12 to 17 years old.
And so just for everyone who's watching, what is SANE stands for?
Sexual assault nurse examiner, and they are where survivors go. You try to get them in there immediately after they're assaulted to go through a 4-hour testing that is pretty invasive. Even blood work is taken for drugs being given to them, administered. I tell you what, whenever this happened to my daughter 2 years ago, they only had 2 nurses. They now have 6. They now have instead of going into the emergency room, really cold, white, stark. Now they have a room for our survivors to go to. And so anyway, let me go back to Jennifer. Jennifer came and said, we have a problem, and we started collaborating because I said, I agree. She goes, I don't know what to. She was just like me. I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna do something, talk about consent. And I'm like, oh, I feel you, I get it, but let me show you what I found and what I think is a solution to a problem that our community, all communities need this. Mm-hmm. By the way, it's being implemented all over Florida. It's not being implemented here. And
why is that?
One of my board members just went down that rabbit hole recently. Aaron's law got approved at the state level, and Aaron, you'd have to look that up. Aaron went to every single state and said, we need to be doing something for our children. And she has an amazing backstory, by the way. She's a survivor. And she, like I said, is going to every state and sharing Prevent 360 and options to get in the school districts. But it got approved, but nothing happened. And that's what happens. So unfortunately, is every school district gets to pick and choose what they want to implement. It's not any different than what happened with COVID. Your different things that you wanted, mask or no mask. I mean, it's kind of all the same. They're letting these counties, school districts decide what they want to do. And I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like something needs to happen. It should be across the board. And that's what Faultless is really pushing for, is trying to get into the Montrose School District. We're got to keep our fingers crossed. Thank you for letting me share this with our community, because I think people are really afraid of it teaching them sex. It's not teaching them sex. It's teaching them red flags. It's teaching them what to do if they see red flags, if they feel a certain way. They can have somebody inside the school and outside of the school that they can trust, that they can go to. We're not teaching them anatomy. We're just teaching them consent and
boundaries.
And boundaries.
Yes, and I think that's really important to know, because I actually, not too long ago, interacted with someone in a bar who just came up to me. It was a political event, and said, "Can you believe that they're trying to tell our children which sex to choose and who to be?" And that is not at all what Program 360 is about.
Right.
It's really just about acknowledging your body and being aware and self-aware that even if it's within family and adults, because we teach our children to listen to adults and do as they're told, but that it's never okay to cross these boundaries of touching or looking or kissing, or especially at a young age. And so I think this is really crucial to know, is that it's not about defining sexuality. It's about putting boundaries about my body that is my own, and I'm in charge when it's about my body. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am. You just hit it on the nose.
Yes.
Well said.
And I think, you know, I'm in charge of my body is really powerful to me.
Yes.
Even if I haven't always felt that way.
Yeah.
We have an amazing article if you want to learn more about Faultless, also in your neighborhood magazine, Mantras Living. This is an emotional subject a little bit for me, so I need to breathe. But I want to know more because it is Sexual Assault Awareness Month this month. And so we want to really put you in the know of what's happening in town. How can you be involved? How can you support? And I hate to say victims, so tell me another word.
The survivors.
Survivors. I love that so much better.
Yeah.
So survivors of sexual assault. So tell me, what is happening this month? How can we support Faultless? Where can we be, when, and how?
Well, you already have in so many ways, so I just want to let you know, and thank you for today. So the district attorney's office, the SANE women, so they have a SART team. It's called Sexual Assault Reactive Team. That entity, and then Michelle at the Dolphin House, and Faultless, we have all been collaborating for over 6 weeks, and we have a banner going up on Monday. And that, by the way, Angie Gross at the DA's office started the awareness last year, but she was all alone. And it just kind of, I've been working with her because of the trial with my daughter. And we sat down and I said, how can I help you? How can we collaborate and make sure that we do more, and we can do more together? And so, yeah, we have a banner going up on Monday. We have posters that are going to be in local businesses starting on midweek next week. And we had survivors and our fearless, faultless teenagers make the posters. And at the bottom of the posters is a Medusa that has a letter. It has 3 letters in it, but there's only 1 letter that matters. And we're doing a scavenger hunt on April 22nd.
April 22nd. Mark your calendars.
Yep.
Here at downtown Montrose.
Starting at Mosaics at 2 p.m. We will have at Mosaics, let me back this up. So Mosaics, 2 p.m., we have tattoos, fake ones that are Medusa.
Okay.
Medusa has, I wasn't able to get the hymn. But I have cool tattoos that are coming in that you can stick on that'll last a few weeks that are Medusa and Believe that you can put on. And then we're making bamboo charms that and by the way, this is free. We want survivors, supporters to come out and meet other survivors. You don't have to, matter of fact, you don't even have to say a word if you don't want to. This is free opportunity to rid shame if you want. This is how I feel about it. Rid shame and just come out and be hugged and held and just be and do a little DIY. So bracelets, earrings, keychains with these charms that are free, and then the tattoos, and then free food. And then at 3:30 we start the scavenger hunt. Okay. And the scavenger hunt, you'll get a little flyer on it on where to go. There's 7 businesses, and at the end, at San Juan Brews where it ends, there will be prizes, little self-defense tools, little birdies and mace to give out. And then at 5:15 we're going to have a men in heels relay race at Centennial Plaza. So yeah,
Fun.
we've got a day of amazing stuff to support. I feel like that this is what we need to do. We want to let people have a voice. We want to give them, oh, and hold on, there's tinsel. I don't know if you see the tinsel in my hair, but there is some blue teal tinsel. There's free tinsel extensions that Rain is going to be attaching to your hair if you'd like to come out. And again, it's free. And I hope people come out and support and walk through town. But those posters will be up all month long where, you know, our teenagers are voicing, they want to speak up.
And I love that they do, but I also like that they have the option of, if you just want to come, you don't have to share your story. You do not have to be a survivor. But if you are, you're not going to be asked any questions. It's not going to be about, if I'm here, it means it happened to me. You can just come and support your survivors or support the community, because unfortunately we have too many survivors in our community.
Yeah, there's so many people that haven't been able to share their story. Mm-hmm. And I think it's important for us to give them that day.
Yes.
And if they just, you know, want to put teal in their hair or put it, I'm a survivor, my sister's a survivor.
I know. I think there is not one woman that I know.
It's 1 in 3.
That is not.
It's 1 in 3.
Yeah. I think it's more. I think it's 1 of 3 that we know. Mm-hmm. But every woman I know has had it once or twice.
Yep.
Which is difficult.
Yeah. That's why we just got to come together and believe. That's why it's called #BelieveDay. We asked a survivor what we should call it. Angie from the DA's office has a relationship with a survivor, and she texted her and she goes, "Believe. Just believe us."
It's hard that we have to say that. So,
yeah,
right?
It is.
Because
that's what we have to change.
Because still to this day, it's hard to be believed in this situation.
Yep.
So, all right. So April
22nd.
22nd, Mosaic downtown. Yep. And then how do we contact Faultless?
So I'm social media is a great place. That's Faultless Inc. And then there's also Faultless Nicole, no H, at Gmail. And then my website is Faultless EDU. I couldn't get Faultless because it's that old spray that you spray on your to do your curtains and your clothes. So anyway, I was like, really? Can we who's ironing their clothes, you know? But anyway, so faultlessedu.com is another. And you can contact us on there. So
very nice. And then you can find all the information again in Montrose Living. We have some really great stats in here too. So what I love is that you're addressing body safety. Something we haven't talked about is sexual trafficking.
Yeah, the sex trafficking.
And mental health, digital safety we talked about, sexual assault, grooming, and cyberbullying. I will say that it's crazy, but even in real estate, sexual trafficking is an issue in cities. When you have a listing that is empty, people will pretend to be a real estate agent and exchange children in homes. We just got a National Association of Realtors email warning about, if it's not a registered realtor locally, to not do that, because the 2 most common issues that come up in empty houses are sexual trafficking of children and meth. They go in empty houses to make meth. I know, crazy. Mm-hmm. You wouldn't even think would be related to that in real estate, right? Mm-hmm. Like it's just something that we have to look out for. And I think what we hear the most in sexual assault and trafficking is, I never thought it would happen to me. Yeah. So just beware, I guess. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But be educated.
Be educated. Talk to your children about it. And, you know, there's great podcast. There's stuff out there that you can watch as well with your children. I think it's not coming to the top of my head right now, but I think that, you know, my biggest thing is, we have families that don't have time to really talk to their children about these things, and they can't keep up with digital safety. They can't, and digital citizenship and all that. So the push for this to be in our schools is...
So it's addressed on every level.
Yes. Yeah. Because if they're abused by their parent, you know what I mean, that they'll have somebody to talk to. I mean, a lot of it happens in the household, sibling, which happened to me, that happens. And so and whenever I posted on TikTok, I was like shocked at how many responses I got from the sibling sexual abuse. Yeah. And so
and that's why it's so hard, because even if you try within the family, but you don't know it's happening in your own family. And I really want to address, before we go, the victim shaming side of things. Because if you ever hear that it's happened to someone close to you, asking those questions like you have been exposed to on, but what were you wearing? What were you drinking? What were you doing? If I'm being... it shouldn't be questioned.
It shouldn't be questioned.
That if I didn't have an opportunity to consent to what actually happened, and I know I didn't, then why is it questioned over and over again? So for me, if I can make a difference today with this, it would be that. When...
Believe them.
Believe them.
Believe them.
And change the narrative to how can I help versus what did you do?
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's the hardest part.
Yep.
All right.
Such a hard
Deep
conversation.
breath.
Yeah.
I know.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. I really do think it's an important conversation to have, and I hope you all have it with your children. And I will tell you, I haven't personally seen my children naked from, I don't know, since they've been maybe 4, because we've always had this rule at home. It's your body, your choice, and you are in control. And especially that, we're in a divorced family, so we want to make sure that they feel safe at all times. And the only person that can ever have a look is the doctor, if mom and dad are present when they're little. But it is important. So keep sharing the message. I appreciate all of you being here and listening. It is a hard subject, but we'd love for you to support Faultless on April 22nd. Come downtown, get some fun stuff in your hair, and support the survivors, because even if you haven't been through it, there is just a need for support and understanding in the community. And I think if we all come together and be there for the survivors, and if you're a survivor again and you don't want to talk about it, be there. Don't tell your story if you don't want to, but be there and feel love and support. That's the goal, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Love and support.
Yep.
Well said, Delphine.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. Wow.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you want Montrose to know?
I'm excited to be in Montrose. I mean, for what happened and how it went. Trust me, I went through a bad period of what? Why are we so backwards, or why are we not supporting? But it's the amount of people that have collaborated and wanted to have this conversation, they just didn't know how to do it. It makes me so proud to be here in Montrose.
Yeah.
So thank you, community.
Yeah, and just know,
Thank
at
you.
any point, if it's happened to you and you don't know what to do, just go to the ER and ask for a SANE exam. That's all you need. Most people don't know that. But once you know that and you can have access to that care, it will take you, it's still all your choice. You don't even have to take a step further if you don't want to, but it is your body, your choice at all time, even if it was crossed. So hopefully, if I have one person today to know that, that's all I care about. So thank you so much for coming. Thank you for having the hard conversations, because I don't know that I could do as much as you do. So thank you.
You are doing it.
How can people connect with you? Where can they find you?
So
Social media, website, otherwise?
yeah, so at Faultless Incorporated. So they can connect with me on all social media, TikTok.
Which I love.
I know some people hate it, but I reach a lot of kids out there with our prevention videos, which are pretty funny. But and then Facebook, and they're all Faultless at Faultless. And then
Instagram?
the Instagram. Yep. That's where you can contact me. And yeah, if anybody needs anything, please reach out, and we will do our best to help you where you're at.
And come for love and support on the 22nd. Next week, not so important, but real estate stats with Delphine. Next week, we'll talk about the market and where we are. If you're a buyer, it's kind of exciting to learn about where we are in the market and what you should be doing, or what the market is doing, really, and just talk about stats overall. So I can't wait to see you all next week. Thank you so much, Nicole.
Thank you. I love you.
And we'll see you on the 22nd. I love you too. Thank you so much.
Yep.
Ta-da. Yeah.